So my advice to you is that, especially while you're young, really try to save as much as humanly possible. Hi, this is Joshua Ruskin, and today let's talk about money. So in our last two videos, we talked about the overview of just wealth, income, savings, and investing, as well as the overall strategy we want to use in order to really gain wealth. So today I want to talk about the most important aspect of earning, saving, and investing, and that's actually saving. Most people assume it's all about earning and investing, but really saving is the most important component to really building wealth. So let's jump right into the saving mindset. So why is saving the number one component of getting wealthy? It reminds me of this book, one of the oldest books, I think the oldest investment book in the world, called The Richest Man in Babylon. And one of the stories, fables in that book, was that there was a forum, right, in like the public square, and one wealth expert was asking everybody, hey, what do you do for a living and how much do you earn? And one person would be a dentist, and they'd say, hey, I'm a dentist, I make $85,000 a year. Another person, would say, I'm a janitor, I make $25,000 a year. Another would say, I'm a lawyer, I make, $150,000 a year. And he'd ask all three and say, hey, why do you all say you're poor? Like, the janitor, if you say if you made $150,000 that you'd be wealthy, and yet here's this lawyer making $150,000 and he is not wealthy. He's here saying he's poor. So the story of that, the moral of that is that it really isn't about income that determines your wealth. It's much more about saving that determines your wealth. And saving is for losers, right? Like, let's not get that wrong. Every 20 years, your money gets cut in half. However, again, most people, to even start investing, you have to save, and most people don't invest at all. And I've got some scary stats to tell you. So off the bat, 86% of Americans have less than $10,000 savings. That's mind-boggling. All right, and it gets even worse. 80% of NBA players and NFL players go bankrupt. And want to take an even scarier scenario, lottery winners. Majority of lottery winners go bankrupt. How can that be, right? Like, these people in 1 year, whether that be the lottery or playing in the NFL, NBA, those people in 1 year make more money than the average American makes in their entire lives. So how is it possible for them to blow all that money? And the simple answer is that most people, when they make money, buy things called liabilities. They'll buy a nice new house, a nice new car, all these things that end up taking money every single month. So think about the lottery winner, right? A lottery winner is going to buy all these fancy cars, all these fancy houses, expensive clothing, but all of these things don't bring in more money. In fact, they do the opposite. Majority of them will take money out, right? Every year you have to pay property taxes. Every year you're gonna have to do maintenance, electricity, car insurance. All of that takes money out every month rather than put money in. And so that's the real issue people have with income, is the more money they make, the more liabilities they often buy. And the way to get out of this is, the number one skill set is something called delayed satisfaction. It's more important for your success and happiness than either IQ or EQ. It's the number one most important component of your success and happiness. And what that basically means is that you don't want to just do what you want right here and now, right? Like, when you have money, most people want to spend it, right? Spending feels good. But if you saved it, it doesn't feel as good right then, but in the future, it'll feel better. So people that have the skill set of being able to do delayed satisfaction are going to end up much more successful. And that's what I suggest you do with your income. I want to kind of go over real quick about rich versus wealthy, because rich is what most people think about when they think about wealth. What rich means, and rich is really determined by your income, is, people think, oh, how many nice cars you have, do you send your kid to private school or not, how nice is your home, right? That's not real wealth. That's rich but not wealthy. So what is wealth? And I can ask, you can do that with one question, and you can ask the question is, if you had to stop working today, how long could you live for? And if you can't answer with the single word indefinitely, you are not wealthy. Wealthy means that you don't have to actually work, that your assets in and of themselves will pay for your lifestyle. And until you have that ability, that your assets can cover your lifestyle, you aren't wealthy. And that's why saving and investment determines your wealth and your income really determines how rich you look, or your lifestyle, let's say. So I want to go into the FIRE strategy again and do a quick reminder, because this is how we're going to do our retirement calculator. This is how we're going to drive home and get wealthy quick, and so that we can retire in luxury, right? The FIRE strategy, as I mentioned from last video, and has the assumption of an 8% growth in the stock market. Actuality, it's about 10%, but we're going to go conservative with 8%, and with a 3% interest. Again, interest is about 2%, but we're going to go conservative and do around up to 3%. And we're going to draw 4% a year, so there's even 1% just as wiggle room. With that math, that very conservative math, let's go look at this retirement calculator and see what we can do with different kinds of saving rates, right? And I mentioned earlier, again, your income doesn't matter for your wealth. Let's not fall into that trap. Income matters for your lifestyle. So we're not looking at this number here. You see saving percentage. It's not a saving amount, it's a percentage. Because if you've got a low expense lifestyle, you could obviously retire and be wealthy much earlier than someone that has a very fancy lifestyle they want to maintain. So let's talk about saving percent. So if you save 5% a year, you'll be able to retire in 66 years, keeping the same lifestyle you had while you were saving 5%. All right, now normal people advise you to do 10%. That's 51 years to retire. So if you started when you were 20 years old and you saved 10%, you would retire at 71 with that same lifestyle. That's not that cool to me. Aggressive, people financial advisors say you're being aggressive and really awesome when you do 20%. That's still 37 freaking years to retire from when you're 20. So that means you retire by your time you're 60 if you started when you're 20. I don't think that's very sexy. I want to go faster. I suggest you do 50%. So you do 50%, you retire in 17 years. That's my suggestion. However, the more you can go, the better. I'm closer to 70, 80%. So at 70%, you can retire in 8.5 years. At 80%, 5.5 years. 90% under 3 years. 95% under 2. So my advice to you is that, especially while you're young, really try to save as much as humanly possible. There's a few reasons why you want to do it while you're young. Obviously, compound interest really matters. If I start saving now and you start saving even 7.5 years after me, but let's go conservative and do 10, and I put, let's say, $5,000 a year every year for 10 years, and then you decide to do $5,000 a year every year after I stopped, how long do you think it would take you to hit my net worth or amount of money I have in my stock account? You'll never hit it. If I've got 10 years, in theory actually, if I had 7.5 years and I stopped, if you match my contributions, you'll never be able to catch up with me. So I suggest, obviously, with that and the power of compound interest, right? Einstein said compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. With that in mind, that means you should really start young. Further, there's another benefit to putting your money in investments. If you withdraw from investments, you pay a much lower tax rate than you would when you actually make money through earnings. And you can write off your earnings with investments. So my suggestion is take as much earning money as you have, income, and put it into investments, and then if you want, withdraw from investments so you can get a lower tax rate. So overall, hopefully this made an important lesson. If you're not willing to save money, you're not going to make wealth. You're not going to have investments. So as much as saving, quote unquote, is for losers, which it is, it's the number one skill set that people really just don't do. And if you're not willing to save, honestly, it doesn't matter how much more money you make, it probably will make a difference. And obviously you can't invest if you don't save. So hopefully with this, I've kind of convinced you that you really want to save. It's the number one skill set. Most people don't do it, but if you want to be wealthy, you have to do it. And so hopefully I've convinced you through all this video that you're really going to need the saving mindset for you to actually be building your wealth and investing. So until next time, hope you guys develop the saving mindset and enjoy and let's build some wealth. Take care.